Hello, and let's talk about validity and why it really matters when you're designing a test for your students or learners. Imagine this, you've got a class or maybe just one student and you want to write a test, not just for the sake of it, but to figure out how they're doing or to help plan what to teach next. Maybe you want to assess what they've learned from the course, and in this situation validity is the single most important thing. Why? Because if your test doesn't genuinely measure what you think it's measuring, then your results are meaningless. They won't help your students and they won't help you. The key thing here is you're probably not giving this test over and over again or comparing it to national exams. You're doing it once for your own purposes. So what you really care about is making sure that the test reflects the skills, knowledge, or language use that you actually want to assess. So let's break this down into the 5 different kinds of validity you should be aware of. So the first of these is face validity, and this is all about perception, how the test looks and feels to the students. If students don't trust the test, if it doesn't look serious or doesn't seem to match what they've been working on, they won't perform at their best. Even if your test secretly gives you great information, your learners might feel it's unfair or even meaningless. For example, having a quick chat in a corridor might tell you a lot about someone's speaking ability, but the student may not see this as a proper test. They might not take it seriously, or they might feel you didn't give them a real chance to show what they can do. Environment matters too, so most learners expect a test to happen in a quiet room without talking or cheating, so to speak. If it's too informal, some students may treat it casually while others don't, and that can throw off your results. So if the test looks valid, students will engage with it more seriously, and that's what we mean by face validity. Content validity, this is more technical. It's about how well the content of the test matches the content of the course. So if you've taught grammar, vocabulary, and writing strategies for the IELTS exam, your test should reflect those exact things, not something random or new. Likewise, if your test is to measure achievement, that is, how well someone has learned what you've taught, then everything on the test should be stuff you've taught. If it includes unrelated material, students might struggle through no fault of their own. And there's also the question of coverage. If you've covered a wide range of topics and skills, the test needs to be long enough and rich enough to reflect that. Otherwise, it won't be a fair measure. So content validity means the test actually covers the content that matters. The third is predictive validity. And obviously, as the name implies, we're looking to the future. Predictive validity is about whether your test can predict accurately how well a student will do in the future, in a real exam, for example, or on a future course. Let's say you're designing a barrier test to decide who's ready to enter a preparation course for an official exam. You want to know, can this test tell me or you who's going to pass later? But here's the catch, you won't know how good your test is until you actually try it out. Wait and see how learners do in the real exam, and that takes time, possibly months, and it means that the test won't be fully reliable at first. So predictive validity takes patience, but if your test results correlate well with future performance, you've got a winner. The fourth is concurrent validity, and this is kind of like predictive validity's sibling, but instead of looking forward in time, you're comparing two tests given at the same time. Let's say there's a long, well-established test from an exam board. You want something shorter and easier to mark, but that still gives you the same kind of information. To check concurrent validity, you give both tests to the same group of learners. If the results match up, if students who score well on the official test also score well on your version, then your test has good concurrent validity. And this can obviously save time and stress, but you need to be careful and systematic when comparing the results. And 5, construct validity. This one's a bit abstract, but it's absolutely crucial. Construct here doesn't mean build. In this case, a construct is an idea or ability that exists in the mind, like reading comprehension or spoken fluency or academic writing. You can't directly see a construct, but you can create tasks that reflect it. To have good construct validity, you need to be able to clearly answer this question: what exactly am I testing? It's not enough to say, I'm testing writing. That's too vague. You need to go deeper. Ask yourself, what kind of writing? At what level? For which audience? In what tone or register? Formal, informal? How long? And on what topic? If you give clear, consistent answers to those questions, your test is likely to have high construct validity. If you can't, your test might be measuring something else entirely, like speed, memory, or test-taking confidence. So to wrap up, when you write your own test, validity is your number one concern because you want your results to mean something. To get that, you need to think about face validity. Does the test look like a test to your learners? Content validity, does it match what has been taught? Predictive validity, does it show how well students might perform in the future? Concurrent validity, does it match other reliable tests? And construct validity, are you really testing the thing that you think you're testing? If you can keep all 5 in mind, you'll be designing better tests and you'll be making better decisions for your students. Thank you very much.